Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the performance of Goku Rose and Zamasu in the Cell Max event. So as always guys, full disclaimer, the Cell Max event is best taken on with units that have high levels of evasion but also have possibly decent levels of guard and damage reduction, and sometimes just a combination of all three or two of them, etc. So immediately, just as a premise, generally speaking, units don't do very well here unless they can have super high defense, and even then with super high defense they still get absolutely slaughtered by a super attack. With that being said, Goku Rose and Zamasu are one of the few units in the game that genuinely have such a high defense that they can and will be able to tank normals from Cell Max. So that's huge. I think that's a big reason of why people like them. They have that capability to just soak and eat and devour normal attacks. They'll still get rinsed by a super attack, but a lot of units get rinsed by a super attack. But they are one of the few units that can quite reliably and pretty easily tank normals, and I think that's huge for them as a unit. I think that's why a lot of people like them. Just to kind of recap them as a unit for those who don't know, they are able to build stacks. So they start off with 50% defense, they then have guard for 3 turns, that will then generate another 50% defense, and they will also, just in general, have the ability to build stacks. They get 40% attack and defense every time that they are hit. So every time they hit, they build up attack and defense, and on their 12 key they build up 30% defense for 3 turns, and on their 18 key they build up defense 30% for 3 turns. So pretty big stuff. Overall I think quite significant, quite huge, but obviously a pretty big kind of selling point for the unit that they can build such high defense. I think a lot of units can't necessarily get to that level, and I think they are helped by that in general. So yeah, pretty good stuff for them I think in general, and pretty good stuff overall. The Cell Max fence is great for them because they can build up their stacks quite easily in the beginning, and once built up they are basically ready to go. They, like I said, will get rinsed by a super attack, but that's not a huge issue. Not to mention the fact that also, quite frankly, they do a lot of damage, which is great. Obviously I think you want to build them into crit to kind of benefit from that damage. I don't think you want to live without crit, basically. I think it's one of the few ways they do damage. Even high raw attack stats like 12 million and that doesn't do a lot when you have high levels of damage reduction like the bosses like Cell Max and that. So yeah, that does help them. Obviously again, just in general they are incredibly good. They are one of the few units that builds up the raw defense. Cell Max hits for about 620,000, and them being able to build up so high is just very good, especially with only one dupe, not even max link levels. There's still so much room for this unit to grow, which I think is also something that excites a lot of people. Seeing people take them to even higher levels, people with 2 dupes with gear, means that you have a lot more control, and yeah, just in general, just honestly in general, just a very good unit. I personally think they're one of the better ETAs to have come out in a while. I do think they are just very simple, but in that way they are very good. Yes, they are a bit restricted in terms of category, but yeah, in general they just do the business. They just get it done. They get it done, they do the business, they're good, they're solid, they're reliable. I think they're epic and I think they're great. So yeah, most players that have them, definitely give them a try. They're not going to solo the Cell Max event for you, like Gamma 1. Gamma 1 probably would, or not solo it, but he's like such a huge mechanism to beating it. That having him is super helpful, but these guys are, maybe not there, but they're kind of there. They're a huge help. They're a massive help, and not to mention they're on the Future Saga Bond the Parent and Child team under the Int Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and Trunks, alongside the fact that they're also there with the merged Zamasu, who himself is one of the better tanking units for the Zamax event. Means that they have a pretty good team to build around them, which means in general they just do tend to look pretty good in a lot of these Zamax type situations, which I think is fine. Yeah, honestly speaking, I think in general they are just really good. Yeah, without like getting into it too deep, I think they're a pretty top unit. I like them a lot. I think they do a fantastic job. I think overall there is like a lot you can get out of them as a unit. I think if you're looking to use them, they can do a really good job. I think the damage is good. The health regain is also good, not to mention that 15%. Maybe not so much in the Cell Max event where the other units in the rotation might possibly get you killed right now, at least on this team that I'm using, but in general it's still good to always regain 15% health. That is a fairly sizable amount, so it's, it is quite valuable to get that. It is going to help you out quite a bit in the long run. So yeah, overall I think most players should be pretty happy with how things are playing out. And I think you shouldn't really feel bad in any way, shape or form. Here we've got them, obviously quite a bit of support here, of course, but yeah, just in general they do look pretty good. I think we're gonna let them soak up the attacks here, and you're just gonna see them basically tank super well. To cut a long story short, you're gonna see them pretty much tank like an absolute beast. So nice damage as well, a crit as well, so there, and they tank them for singles. So yeah, normal attack wise, great. Obviously super attack wise, they would take quite a significant portion of damage. Like I said, they would take a fair chunk of damage, but it's not the end of the world. Not to mention they still have big red bosses to go, so there is still another level for them to climb, which is pretty good. But yeah, that is basically it. I don't really think you need to see more. The fact that they tank normals kind of says enough about them as a unit. So yeah, overall I just think they're pretty good. But that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye.